You're here for a couple hours.
Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you. Hello.
Briles,
how y'all doing? Good to see you.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Good. Ready for the season
Glad.
to start?
As always, yes, sir. I hope this isn't going anywhere else. Is it, Heath? This is just right here? Okay. Oh, yeah. I mean, anticipation, excitement. And then, like I said, I mean, letting our players do what they do, and that's play football. They've been doing everything but that for the last 8 months, so it's time to play.
Coach, you talked about momentum earlier, and you talked about the fact that you got the stadium going up and the defense played better going into the year. You got a great running game. You got a lot of speed. Yeah. Talk about how you keep that momentum going through the drought this summer going into the fall.
I mean, you know, the great thing about young people, which I'm fortunate to get to hang around, you know, on a daily basis is, I mean, they're in the now, you know, so they have visions, they have goals, they have dreams and aspirations, and they're not scarred like a lot of older people. I mean, everything is capable. And so our guys, I mean, all they've been doing is focusing on, you know, starting like they finished, which was a pretty dominant football game against UCLA in the Holiday Bowl. So that's the thing that's allowed us to have momentum and to carry us through all the spring and summer.
Coach, when you started at Baylor, what kind of timetable did you have? What kind of expectations did you have for your first 2 or 3 years? Where did you want to be?
I mean, day one, I mean, that was the timetable. One day, get better each day. And then, you know, the first thing I felt like we had to do is be respected and be credible, because neither one of those were facts at that time. We weren't a respected football team. We weren't a credible football team. So the first thing we had to do is make people respect us as a program, and then be a credible, formidable opponent, which we've accomplished both of those.
So now what's the next step?
Win a championship, a Big 12 championship, national championship.
Are you in that position this year, you think?
Every year. I mean, every game we play, we expect to win. So you win 13 of them, you got a pretty good chance.
How hard is it when you have to come in and break in a new quarterback to do that?
You know, it's an unknown, and that's the part that you don't appreciate about it. I mean, if you'll look through the history, teams that make great runs deep into the national championship or BCS, most of those teams have experience at that position. Doesn't mean you have to have, but most of them have that. So the thing that helps us, you know, consequently is that, you know, Briles is experienced with the system. You know, he's just not experienced on the field, and that'll take care of itself. And fortunately, we have, you know, non-conference games that give us an opportunity to run through some of the kinks with him.
Can you talk about what it was like when you first took over the program and it was in the graveyard, and the response from recruits to what it is now?
I mean, it's totally different. I mean, you know, now it's not uncommon for us to have a recruit commit to us or sign with us that everybody in the United States has offered, and that was unheard of 5 years ago.
Coach, you talk about that respect level and building it up. You got the first place voting in this year, but it seems like no matter where we are with you, you still continually get questions about, you know, other Texas teams, and if you guys are up to that standard yet. Is there any point where, are you seeing a difference, or do you get sick of answering those questions ever?
You know, I don't know that specifically, you know, what you're alluding to. I mean, I do think that we continually have to build respect, you know, through our production on the field without any question. And once you do that, then nobody ever, you know, doubts where your program is. So I think there's still doubters out there, and that's fine. That's understandable. You know, and that's what drives us as coaches, as players, and as a program. So that's motivation for us, and that's the way we use it.
One of the things that may be an issue with respect is that you've had struggled on defense over the years. What's happening this year? What do you expect from your defense this year?
I just think we'll be a lot better. You know, Coach Bennett's been there this third year. We've got a bunch of guys back that have played a bunch, made plays for us. I mean, we got the leading tackler back in the Big 12, Bryce Hager. You know, we got good people up front. We're solid in the secondary. And these guys know how to win. They're coming off, you know, 8 months of feeling good about themselves, which is it's okay. It's okay to feel good about what you're doing. So they have a lot of confidence going into week one, and, you know, hopefully that'll carry on throughout the season. Sure expect it to.
Your defense was, the last 2 years, especially the last 6 games of each year, 6 or 7, it's been, you know, outstanding. But the first half has been a real struggle for you guys. Have you been able to target a reason why, even when you are forcing turnovers early on in the season where things aren't going as well as they are late?
You know, I think you just look at the climate of college football in general, and then of the Big 12. I mean, I think those questions could be asked to every one of the teams in the Big 12. I mean, I watched the Oklahoma State replay the other night. It's 45-45 at the end of the game. I mean, talking about, teams that are pretty storied, especially with Oklahoma on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, it's the climate of the game. So what you have to do is understand the climate, and you got to be better than, if it's raining, you got to have an umbrella. I mean, if you're getting turnovers, you got to score points. If they're scoring points, you got to score more. I mean, that's just the way it is. You just have to be better, and you have to understand what you're dealing with before you get into it.
With the pace of the game in the Big 12 for most of the teams, what do you consider to be a good defensive performance from a football team in the Big 12 playing against the kind of offenses you play against?
0 points.
Really?
Yeah.
That's impossible
Straight
in this
pace.
conference.
Oh, no. Nothing's impossible.
So you think you can throw shutouts
That's
against
what
these
we're trying
offenses?
to do. We're trying to score 60 and pitch shutouts. I mean, why wouldn't we try anything else? I mean, that's what we do.
I understand, but trying it and actually
that'd be like saying we're trying to score 3 on offense, and if 3 on offense wins, that's good enough. If 38 on defense and we have 39 wins, that's okay. Name of the game's winning, but for our expectations is when we have the ball score, when they have the ball, don't let them score. I mean, that'll never change. I mean, there's no way we could ever say we're going to go in there and hold them to 21 and hope that's enough. We hold them 0, we know it's enough to at least get us to overtime.
Do you remember the last time you pitched a shutout?
Physically pitched one myself. I think I was at Sears Little League on Ambler in Abilene, Texas.
How many did you strike out?
Well, let's see, there's probably 15 batters, probably 3. But last time there was a shutout, I mean, I'll agree with it. It doesn't happen very often in college football anymore, or NFL. More likely in NFL, holding them below 7. But I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm sure somebody could tell me. But
Now, with the rules changes, where it looks like college is going to try to legislate defense out of the game like the NFL's legislating defense out of the game, that sounds like the shutouts are going to be even more impossible now.
Well, I mean, it's just the nature of the business. It's a climate right now that we're dealing with, and you just deal with it. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's taken certain aspects of the game away from the game, and it's good. It is good. Yeah, it's a violent game without the across the middle hits. Without the leading on the helmet into a defensive QB. I mean, it's still a violent game. Because it's played by big, strong guys with bad attitudes, on the field. And so that's the nature of the game. So I think what's happening is beneficial for the longevity of the game and the people that are playing it.
Speaking of thinking added you guys want to play fast. You think this will allow you to
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm all for it. I voted yes. I mean, most of those guys are my age or more, and I promise you, when I was 26, I was a lot quicker than I am at 57, and I don't think they're that much different. So get them on the field and give them less space to move in.
Bader wins the
Work your neck muscles. Left.
That disrupt your offense when you go and play a game where you don't have a Big 12 crew, you don't have that extra threat?
I don't think so. I hadn't even really thought about that. When we have Big 12 crew, we're fine. If it's an opponent, that's what we've been dealing with for the last 20 plus years. So no, that won't be an issue. I mean, really the whole nation. I mean, those guys understand the rules, they understand the game, and so they set the ball and let's play.
You haven't seen a large difference between crews from different conferences in terms of how fast they move those chains?
Not who we dealt with, not the conferences we dealt with.
You feel like you've had to wait times on the officials? Like, this will take that out of the equation, obviously, where you're not waiting. You can go as fast as you want.
Oh, we've waited a bunch. And if Walt was sitting right here, he'd say, yeah, you're right, Coach, y'all have had to wait. But that's also the nature of the game. I mean, like I said, to get experience, you have to do a lot of things the same way over a long period of time. For these officials to get to the Big 12 level, they've had to referee a lot of football games. And so, like I said, they're not 27. They're guys that they've been down the road a time or two, and their sprints are not as quickly as they used to be. So that plays into the factor. I mean, it really does. But I'd rather have guys that know what they're doing than young guys running around crazy, not knowing what they're doing, getting the ball set.
Coach Snyder said he's not thrilled.
He's not thrilled with?
Yeah, with you guys being able to put us fast on the line.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not thrilled with, sometimes defenses being able to stop fast offenses either, and with certain things that happen.
What's the key ingredient for you guys to win the Big 12 this year? What has to happen for you to win the Big 12?
Keys, ingredients, play great defense, play great special teams, score on offense.
Pitch that shutout.
If there's one out there, we're going to pitch it. We're going to get us one this year. Okay?
Art Briles, Brian Houston, Rattle and Hum Sports.